Discovered the amazing truth. My daughter's surprising toast revealed what my absence really meant. David stood under the swaying sunflowers, the vibrant petals dancing in the warm summer breeze, while his own heart felt leaden. The impending graduation of his daughter Lily loomed ahead like a storm cloud. As an overburdened attorney at a law firm barely scraping by, he found himself caught in an unending cycle of late nights and endless paperwork. Every hour spent on cases felt like a choice made with love, yet the emotional chasm between him and Lily yawned wider with every missed dinner and forgotten birthday. He hadn't quite grasped how it felt to turn around and see the toll his quest for financial stability had taken on their relationship. As he prepared for the graduation ceremony, a knot tightened in his chest. He had an invitation in hand, shiny as a fresh dollar bill, but the anxiety overwhelmed him. Questions spun in his mind. Had he sacrificed too much? Long hours at the office had become a crutch, allowing him to overlook the affectionate gestures, the laughter, the very essence of being a father. Would he be met with warmth, or worse, a frosty acknowledgement of his absence? The gym was brightly decorated, filled with cheers and applause, but all he felt was the cold grip of doubt. His chest tightened further as he caught sight of Lily, radiant yet distant, crossing the stage to accept her diploma, cap and gown billowing around her as she moved. When she grasped the microphone to deliver her toast, David braced himself for what he feared would be a short, perfunctory mention of her busy dad. Instead, he felt a sonorous weight in the room as she began to speak. "Dad," she said, her voice steady but charged with emotion. "Your absence has never been just about not being there. It became my guiding light." David's breath hitched. The words rolled over him like icy water. An inspiration? His decisions had felt like sacrifices made to offer her a better life. A facade of love built on financial security rather than emotional presence. The crowd was rapt, but David felt a haunting unease creeping over him. How could her praise feel like a dagger twisting in his heart? Instead of feeling flattered, he felt raw, exposed. It was reinforcing what he feared. She was right. His long hours were supposed to mean something, but instead they had woven a tapestry of missed memories, lessons unshared, laughter silenced. Each compliment built tension. Would the crowd understand how empty he felt at that moment, like a mere specter in her life? Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. But just when he thought it couldn't get worse, she posed a question that hung like a shroud in the auditorium. Will my father finally see that being there means more than just physical presence? The very air around him thickened, constricting, as guilt threaded through every thought. The audience erupted in applause, but for David, there was no sound, only the urgent, stinging realization that he faced a reckoning. How could he bridge the chasm he had let widen? Would he prioritize her in ways he had never dared to envision? Or would he let the moment slip through his fingers, lost to the shadows of unfulfilled promise? In the days following graduation, David found himself adrift in a sea of conflicting emotions. Each sunrise brought with it the stark light of realization. He had survived the moment that could have shattered him, yet it had also opened wounds that demanded attention. As he sifted through the remnants of his life, the weight of his postponed relationship with Lily bore down on him like a leaden fog. The law office hummed with the usual chaos of phone calls and urgent meetings, but for David, every sound was a reminder of the chains he had forged with his own ambition. Sitting at his desk, he aimed to focus on the latest case, yet thoughts of Lily invaded his mind like a relentless tide. How long would it take to mend what he had neglected? To show up for her in ways he had never dared to before? That night, he found himself scrolling through old photos on his phone. A few fuzzy snapshots from forgotten family outings juxtaposed against all the obligatory work events he had attended. As he viewed Lily's laughing face, free of the burden of understanding his failures, despair washed over him. He realized he didn't know much about her dreams anymore. The chasm of years spent with his eyes glued to legal briefs felt insurmountable. Determined to change, David decided he would take a week off from work. The idea seemed both liberating and terrifying. He could no longer allow himself to hide behind the pretense that sheer busyness equated to devotion. Now he faced the monumental task of engaging with his daughter in a meaningful way, something he had allowed to feel foreign. He picked up the phone, the weight of the decision heavy in his hand. Would Lily even want him to reach out after everything? What if her feelings of resentment ran deeper than he understood? He hesitated before composing a message, battling inner fears more potent than any courtroom opposing counsel he'd faced. "Lily, can we spend some time together this week? I'd love to catch up." He typed and sent it, heart racing. The reply came swiftly, and with a mixture of excitement and dread. "Of course, Dad. I'll be free Wednesday." Wednesday arrived with the urgency of a first day at a new job. He felt unprepared, yet resolute. They agreed to meet at a small cafe, a place he hoped would provide the tranquility necessary for their conversation. The prospect of reconnecting filled him with both hope and anxiety. His professional armor felt inadequate, a barrier that now only emphasized the discomfort of vulnerability. As he walked into the cafe, the scent of fresh coffee met him like a warm embrace, yet the tremor in his stomach matched the buzz of patrons around him. He spotted Lily seated in a corner. Radiant and unfamiliar, she looked both like the young girl he remembered and a stranger he longed to know. "Hey, Dad," she greeted, her smile a tentative bridge over the gulf of missed moments. The warmth in her tone felt like an invitation, but would it be enough to rebuild? David took a deep breath, reminding himself that he had come here to listen, to truly listen to her. "Hey, Lily, I've missed so much of your life. Tell me everything." As she began to speak, he was determined to hold space for her words, to engage not as a busy father, but as the listener he should have always been. For the first time, the conversation opened doors into her life, a life he had almost forgotten. He learned about her aspirations, her struggles, and her joys, each word deepening the connection he had long since taken for granted. But as he listened, a stark realization began to brew with him, providing just enough light to illuminate the shadows of his past choices. He faced the truth, but he had barely scratched the surface of the depth of their relationship. He felt an urgent push within. There was still time to change, yet it was now or never. Just as they began to laugh together, a call from work flashed on his phone. He hesitated, a familiar pull between duty and personal engagement tugging at him. The question buzzed insistently in his mind. Could he truly shift his prioritization after so many years? Could he let go of the old narrative of his life and rewrite it? The time had come to face the reality of what he truly valued, to decide just how far he would go to reconnect with Lily in ways that mattered. As he placed the phone face down on the table, he felt the strength of this moment pushing against the ghosts of his choices. What if this wasn't just a step, but a leap into a future where he could finally reclaim the role of father he had neglected? As they continued their conversation, laughter spilling into the space between them, he felt the burgeoning urgency to resolve the conundrum of his past, a challenge that wouldn't wait for him to figure it out alone. Would he embrace this new path and confront the sacrifices he made in pursuit of professional accolades? Would he step away from distractions and choose genuine connection over ambition? The answers would change everything, not just for him, but for Lily, as they embarked on rediscovering their relationship, one filled with potential hope, growth, and uncharted territory. As David sat across from Lily, the lively cafe faded into background noise, the laughter of other patrons barely registering. The conversation flowed easily, yet he felt the weight of what was unsaid, a tension building beneath the surface. The contrast of their connection, now rekindled, against the years of neglect was stark. His heart raced, knowing he was on the precipice of change, but still tethered to uncertainty. "Dad, there's something I've been thinking about," Lily said, breaking through his thoughts. Her tone shifted, revealing a seriousness that sent a bolt of anxiety through him. "Oh?" he managed, caught off guard. She hesitated, gathering her courage. "Why did you work so much? I mean, I get the whole lawyer thing, but it felt like you were always somewhere else, even when you were home." Her question pierced through him, raw and unsettling. He had crafted his identity around ambition, yet here was the unintended consequence laid bare by the very daughter he had tried to provide for. The truth struck him cold. His choices had not only shaped his life, but had deeply affected Lily's perception of love and attention. I thought providing for you meant being successful," he admitted, the words feeling inadequate. "I thought that's what you needed." Lily's gaze softened, but her resolve remained. "It didn't feel like it. I wanted you to just be there, sharing a meal, talking about anything, everything, not just working. I wanted my dad." The dam inside David began to crack as the realization settled on him. He had equated financial stability with emotional presence, not realizing that they were two different worlds. Each hour spent in the office had cost him the connection he cherished, turning him into a mere figure rather than a participant in his daughter's life. "What do I do now then?" he asked, the weight of her words lingering in the air. "How do I make up for the time I lost?" "Just be here, when it matters," she said, a simplicity in her words that felt loaded with expectation. "I don't need grand gestures, just let me in." He wanted to promise her the moon, change everything he had neglected, but he felt paralyzed by the enormity of the task. Could he really redefine his relationship with her? The hesitation echoed in the silence that followed, thick with his fears about failure. "I need to do this, Lily, to be better. It's hard," he confessed quietly, looking down. The acknowledgement of his flaws felt like a weight he had been carrying too long, one that could finally be laid down. "I know," she replied gently, "but I believe you can." And within that moment, a flicker of hope rose within him, igniting a determination that had been dormant for far too long. This was his chance to rewrite his narrative, to craft a new foundation for their relationship, a foundation not built on aspirations, but on authenticity and presence. As they continued to talk, David's resolve solidified. He would take concrete steps to amend his past mistakes. He started envisioning small, deliberate actions, taking time off work more regularly, attending her school events, involving himself in her interests. Each commitment felt like a brick in rebuilding the monument of their bond. Yet, even as that determination blossomed within him, a tiny voice whispered doubts. Could he really shift the balances in his life? Could he sustain this level of engagement amidst a career built on relentless demand? The upcoming pressure at work loomed, and he couldn't shake the uncertainty of what was to come. Just then, a notification pinged on his phone, prompting him to glance at the screen. A message from a client demanding immediate attention, relics of a relentless world still vying for his allegiance. The temptation of slipping back into the familiar grind tugged at him, threatening to unravel the promise he was building here. The thought rattled through him. This was more than a simple choice. It was a defining moment that could either consolidate the trust he was starting to rebuild with Lily or pull him back into the past where duty overshadowed connection. Lily spoke again, her voice breaking through his thoughts. "Dad, remember how I said I wanted to help you find some time for yourself? Maybe it starts with making time for us." He met her gaze, filled with unconditional trust, a trust he desperately wished to uphold. The tension hung heavier than it had just minutes before. A decision loomed ever closer, and he felt the stirrings of resolve clash against old habits. In that moment, as he faced the intoxicating allure of professional urgency that threatened to drown out his newfound commitment, David felt the fabric of his life's narrative fraying at the seams, both frightening and exhilarating. But one thing was certain, this path wouldn't be easy. Could he navigate this delicate balance between his choices and the commitments he needed to uphold? Would he truly step into the unknown, leaving the shadow of his past behind to flourish in this new, vibrant connection with Lily? Tomorrow would certainly test his resolve. A call from the firm waited, cloaked in promises of professional advancement, but at what cost? Would he finally choose connection over ambition, or would old patterns resurface, bounding him back into isolation? The urge to answer that call lingered, challenging him in ways he had never anticipated. The stakes were higher than ever. The morning light filtered through the kitchen window, casting long shadows against the walls as David poured himself a cup of coffee. The aroma filled the air, but the familiar comfort of the routine felt different today. The conversation from last night replayed in his mind, each word echoing a challenge that resonated deep within him. He took a sip, still feeling the warmth, yet it left a bitter taste of urgency and anxiety. He glanced at the clock. Time was slipping away, and with it his resolve. Today was the day he had promised himself he would reach out, both to Lily and to his firm. The two threads of his life, the personal and the professional, felt impossibly tangled, yet he knew he had to start the process of untangling them. After a quick breakfast, he pulled out his phone, and the luminous screen lit up with notifications. A part of him recoiled at the sight of new emails and messages. The clients, the deadlines. Each notification was a reminder of the demanding world waiting to ensnare him again. He hesitated, finger hovering above the screen, but he inhaled deeply and refocused on the promise he made to Lily. With a steadying breath, he dialed the number for his office, setting the stage for what felt like a monumental encounter. When the receptionist answered, he felt the weight of his role pressing down, heavy but familiar. "Hi, it's David. I need to take a personal day," he announced, firm yet tentative. "Everything okay?" Her tone was laced with concern, slicing through the air with the pointedness of an arrow. "Yes, just some matters at home I need to attend to." His heart raced as he spoke these words. Were they even enough to explain his newfound priorities? "I'll catch up on pending work tomorrow." As he hung up, a surge of exhilaration mixed with stark fear washed over him. The first step had been taken, but would it be sustainable? He watched the sunlight dance across the table, illuminating not just the space around him, but casting light into the murkiness that had clouded his aspirations for too long. With a newfound sense of initiative, he retrieved the book Lily had recommended, its spine cracked from previous readings and pages dog-eared with notes and highlights. Diving into her world of poetry and reflections felt like a means to connect, not just with her, but with the softer parts of himself he had suppressed for years. At noon, David found himself at a nearby park, an unexpected haven amidst the concrete jungle that usually consumed him. The fresh air rushed into his lungs, grounding him in the present, offering clarity. As he settled onto a bench, he noticed families sharing laughter, couples linking hands, and kids flying kites, each interaction emanating warmth. He pulled out his phone again, this time searching for Lily's school schedule. He discovered an upcoming art exhibit where students would showcase their work. Excitement bubbled within him at the thought of surprising her, attending without her knowing. No more missed opportunities. This would be a step into her world, away from the suffocating demands of his job. But as plans began forming in his mind, another notification drew his attention. Lengthy email from a senior partner outlining a critical case requiring immediate attention. The pull between his burgeoning engagement with Lily and the relentless demand from his career was palpable, each choice igniting conflicting emotions. He felt the familiar cycle of guilt rise within him. The pull to be a dutiful employee clashed with the desire to be present with his daughter. How could he navigate this path without losing himself again? The vibrant excitement of stepping into his role as a father felt heavy with the weights of responsibility that lingered. His fingers danced over the phone screen as he contemplated replying, but each time he caught himself reprimanding his old habits. The firm had demanded so much, contributed to his absence. This was a defining moment, an opportunity to cement his focus on family. In the following silence, an internal struggle raged. He envisioned facing his boss self, the man forged by ambition, eager to claim another notch on his professional belt. But could he really dismiss the needs of the daughter standing before him? David, Dad. The voice of Lily pierced through his thoughts, shaking him from within. He turned and saw her silhouette approaching. The warmth of her presence flickered through the doubts that clouded his mind. "What are you doing here?" "I came to find you. I wanted to share my art ideas with you over lunch." "Maybe," she hesitated, their usual bond growing stronger visibly. "Maybe we can brainstorm together?" Seeing the eagerness in her eyes ignited a fire within him. This was it, the moment he had been longing for, to not only shift his focus, but to commit wholly to her. "Of course, let's go," he replied eagerly, his resolve crystallizing. As they walked toward a nearby cafe, David thought about how choosing to abandon old habits seemed less daunting with her by his side. They sat down, sharing their thoughts and laughter. Each exchanged word turned into bricks, constructing a new relationship built on participation and presence. Yet as he sat there, a subtle pang of anxiety gripped him. The impending pressure from work had not vanished. It hovered like a specter, testing his newfound commitments. Would he truly have the strength to hold this fragile sculpture of his life together? In the midst of their conversation, his phone vibrated insistently on the table, a reminder of the responsibilities waiting to reclaim him. Taking a steady breath, he prepared to confront the future in this new light of connection. Could he silence the demanding echoes of his profession and choose the intimacy of a relationship that had begun to blossom? As the screen lit up with the name of his senior partner, David felt the urgency swell within him. What would he choose in this moment? Endless ambition or the artistry of fatherhood? The moment lingered, filled with uncertainty and potential. Which path would he walk down first? Lily's excitement washed over David like a gentle tide as they engaged in their brainstorming session. Her ideas seemed to reflect not just her creativity, but also her yearning for connection. Every time she spoke, he could feel himself shifting, lifting from the burdens of his past. The push and pull of obligation and desire within him transformed into something oddly profound, a realization that teaching and nurturing, not only at work, but also as a father, could powerfully intersect. As they sat, the cafe around them buzzed with life, coffee machines sputtering and voices rising in laughter. He watched her animated expressions, the way her hands floated in the air as she explained her concepts. The art she was envisioning was a collage of colors, vibrant and alive, and for David, it mirrored a dream he had long suppressed, a dream of more balanced living. "Dad, what do you think?" she asked, snapping him from his thoughts. "About what?" he replied, a sheepish grin revealing an absent-mindedness that didn't escape her notice. "About my idea for using nature in my art. I think it can show how we're connected to our surroundings," she prompted, her brow raising with anticipation. "It's a beautiful concept, Lily. It's honest and insightful," he admitted, carefully choosing his words. "But what does it mean to you personally?" She paused, her expression shifting from excitement to contemplation. "It means that we're all part of something bigger. Like how you always tell me you get lost in work, and sometimes it feels like a different world. But when we're outside in the park or the trees, it's different. It makes me think about you and me," she said, vulnerability etched into her voice. David felt an unexpected tide of guilt pour over him. His choices had erected walls around them, creating an emotional distance he had been too zealous to acknowledge. "I don't want to be lost anymore, Lily. I'm trying to change that." "Yeah?" she smiled softly. You're here now. That counts. We're together. Her optimism clutched at his heart, igniting a wave of determination. But the specter of his phone continued to loom, a constant reminder of the commitments back at the office. It buzzed again, demanding attention like an insistent child. He glanced at it, torn. "It's just the firm," he said quickly, dismissing it, but the words felt hollow even to him. "Why don't you just check?" she urged, tilting her head slightly. "You could always reply quickly." He grappled with that thought, the internal conflict raging anew. "I could, but I don't want to ruin this moment," he countered. This wasn't just lunch, it was a bridge he had started to build. "Sometimes you have to take risks, right? Like with your work. You always tell me about how big ideas can change everything," she replied, a hint of innocence challenging his adult fears. Recklessness waged war against responsibility. The fear of missing out on work-related promotions clashed with the newfound joy sitting across from him. But was this moment truly a risk, or was it a testament to his evolution, a commitment to not repeat past mistakes? Taking a steadying breath, David made a decision. "You're right, but today, how about I give my undivided attention to us, to this?" The words felt heavy yet liberating on his tongue. With newfound tenacity, he silenced the phone, turning it face down on the table. "Let's dig deeper into your concepts instead. I want to hear more." As they immersed themselves in conversation, threads of laughter and creativity intertwining, David felt the weight behind his resolve shift. Each story Lily shared about her classmates and their art was a little reminder, a challenge to identify what mattered most. But just as they were developing a particularly exciting idea about using recycled materials, the atmosphere abruptly darkened. The phone buzzed relentlessly beneath the table, an insistence that was impossible to ignore. "Dad, are you sure you're not going to check?" she inquired, concern creeping into her spirited demeanor. A knot tightened in his chest. The thought of succumbing to his profession while distance loomed over them fizzled his warmth. His gaze remained locked on her, a reflection of the life he began to forge, but he grappled with the worry of what could be at stake if he ignored the calls from the office. What responsibilities awaited him, demanding his return to that world he had hoped to escape, even if momentarily? For an instant, the cafe sounded distant, as if the world around him blurred into oblivion. But with a casual movement, he reached for his phone, a flicker of impulse in the back of his mind prompting caution. The moment of truth was imminent. What choice would he make? Retracing the path he had embarked upon, or solidifying the connection that had begun to blossom with Lily? That vibrancy, intoxicating and a hint of trepidation danced unsettlingly within him. What would be his next step? David's fingers brushed against the cold surface of his phone, the urgency of its vibrations dancing like a frantic heartbeat beneath his touch. The cafe buzz faded further into the backdrop as he wrestled with the decision looming before him. Did prioritizing this moment with Lily truly signify a departure from his established responsibilities, or could it represent a new foundation upon which both his personal and professional lives could be reconstructed? He inhaled sharply. The scent of coffee, mingled with the sweetness of pastries, swirled around him, sharpening his focus. This was a pivotal point, a single choice that could either reinforce the walls he'd erected or begin to dismantle them. Lily's eyes sparkled with a mix of trust and uncertainty, her unwavering belief in their bond grounding him. In that instant, David felt an unfamiliar surge of defiance towards the demands of his job. "You know what, Legs? Let's tackle your project first. The firm can wait a moment longer." Her grin lit up the table, igniting something dormant within him. They dove back into discussions of art and nature, infusing the activity with laughter and ideas. Each suggestion Lily breathed life into became a stroke on the canvas of their connection, and David felt himself stepping further from the shadows of guilt that had long haunted him. Yet, as the conversation flowed, his phone continued its relentless buzzing, an insistent echo of the life he wanted to escape. Beneath the coffee shop's warmth, he felt the chill of anxiety creeping in. What if a crisis was brewing at the office? What if his absence here would cascade into repercussions? Lily reached for her sketch pad, unaware of the tumult in her father's mind, and David couldn't help but admire her unfiltered ambition. "I want to create installations that interact with the community. Art reflects life, right?" Her words tugged at the protective instincts that had driven his actions for years. He had always believed he was safeguarding their future by immersing himself in work, but perhaps the contrary was true. What kind of future was possible if he exchanged genuine moments with his daughter for cold deadlines and meetings? "Lily, do you think your friends understand the importance of that connection with nature? What does it mean to them?" he asked, veering the conversation into deeper territory, motivated by their earlier vulnerability. She thought for a moment, her pencil poised. "I think they get distracted, Dad. Everyone's always plugged into their phones. It's easy to forget we're part of something bigger," she concluded, her brow furrowing in concentration. Her reflection pierced the fog that clouded David's judgment. He realized he was no longer merely a participant in her art discussion. He was a partner in defining what mattered to them both. Their conversation was not just about art, but about connection, about reclamation of the life he wished to construct with Lily. But the phone buzzed again, a harsh intrusion. He felt it vibrating against the table as if mocking his intentions. A flicker of panic surged through him. Did he have the courage to risk it all for the sake of this precious exchange? The moment pressed heavily upon him, and he wrestled with the impulse to answer. The phone silenced itself for an instant, but the tension in the air did not disperse. David caught Lily's concerned gaze once more. She could sense the emotional clash within him. "Dad, you're here now. Just be present with me," she urged gently, her sincerity washing over him like a wave. In that instance, David suddenly understood. A realization took root. It wasn't just about rejecting the call. It was about asserting his resolve to build a new chapter with Lily, one where professional obligations no longer dictated his existence. He leaned back. The weight of responsibility felt less heavy and more like a choice. David reached out to silence his phone entirely, willing to embrace the uncertainty looming just outside the cafe door. "Let's talk about how we can visualize your ideas. What's the first step?" But just as he leaned forward, eager to invest in their growing connection, the phone buzzed one last time. This time, vibrating insistently with a message that instantly grabbed his attention. He glanced down at the screen, the edges of his mind sharpening. The message was from his boss, and the ominous words hinted at a situation that demanded his immediate response. "David, we need you here now." It was the moment he had courted like love and dread. Unbeknownst to him, this moment marked more than a decision about work. It stood as a vivid crossroads, the choice between loyalty to the past and opening a new narrative with his daughter. The storm of emotions swirled within him, the pressure shifting again. "What am I going to do?" he thought, eyes flicking between the phone and the vibrant life sitting across from him. His pulse raced. Could he truly embrace a redefined life, or would he revert to the confines of his long-established roles? With a decisive breath, he pressed down the thoughts and stared back into Lily's awaiting gaze. "Something's about to change, isn't it?" he wondered silently. The next moment felt monumental, poised for transformation. Yet in that suspended breath lay desperation. What would forge their future? The horizon loomed close, but David stood at the edge, grappling with a revelation that felt like both liberation and peril. The tipping point had arrived. What would be the consequence of his next action? An embrace of a new identity or capitulation to old demands? The silence that followed David's internal tumult was palpable, an electric charge that surged between him and Lily. Each second stretched, as if the universe itself held its breath, waiting for him to decide. The noise of the cafe faded into insignificance, drowning under the weight of his struggle. David's heart raced, thumping like a frantic drum as he observed Lily's face, the innocence and belief radiating from her. This moment wasn't just a fleeting indulgence, it was an invitation to reshape their future. He felt the creeping tendrils of doubt clawing at his resolve. Could he truly walk away from his professional identity, the roles that had defined him for so long? He took a deep breath, fighting the impulse to pick up the phone again. The simple act felt like betrayal, both to Lily and to the very essence of the father he aspired to be. What if I choose to be here, with her? What might unfold? The thought spurred him. It was a notion of liberation, tangled with fear. "Dad?" Lily's voice brought him back, her curiosity mixed with concern, nudging him gently back to the cafe's ambiance. "Everything okay?" He managed a nod, the corners of his lips lifting weakly in an attempt to dispel the tension. But inside, a storm raged. How much longer could he maintain the balancing act between duty and desire? The impending message from his boss felt like a boulder against his chest, yet the vitality radiating from Lily sparkled like sunlight dancing on water. "Listen, Legs," he ventured softly, grasping at the words that felt so foreign yet so necessary. "Do you think it's possible to chase dreams while holding on to family? Can we be ambitious and connected?" Her eyes widened, thoughtful, a spark igniting in response to his question. She nodded, her expression earnest. "You've always told me to follow my passion, right? But why can't you do the same? You always seem so busy." The reality of her statement struck him like a thunderclap. The reflection of his fears and choices hung in the air, challenging him. "I guess I've thought it was for your benefit," he said, rehearsing an honesty he had been avoiding. "But maybe I've been living too much for what I think duty means." Lily leaned back, considering his words, her fingers tapping thoughtfully against her sketchpad. "What's stopping you then? You can change, just like I want to change the world with my art." Her tenacity resonated within him, driving him to confront the uncomfortable truths he had buried. He realized that while he had judged himself harshly for prioritizing work over family, he had also stifled his own ambitions, convinced that his career path was a one-way street. "I need to figure out how to integrate these aspects of my life," he mused aloud, feeling a sense of clarity begin to unfold. "Perhaps I can take risks, not just for you, but for me as well. Maybe it's not about duty, but about connection, exploration." A soft smile crept across her face. "Can we explore together?" Her offer sparked a newfound determination inside him. He envisioned the prospect of stepping into the unknown while forging a path for both of them. "Yes, we'll create something spectacular, together." The realization danced on the fringes of his mind, igniting a sense of momentum. But just as he felt himself soaring with hope, the phone buzzed again, mechanized and persistent, the voice of reality crashing upon the sanctuary of their moment. His pulse quickened. "I have to respond," he breathed, his tone heavy with resignation. "Do you?" Lily's question lingered in the air, challenging the temptation of obligation. David's fingers hovered over the screen, with disparate threads of loyalty from both his daughter and his job pulling him in opposite directions. He clenched his jaw, wrestling with internal forces. Was this the moment that would dictate everything? Lily's admiring eyes anchored him, but the professional world tugged at his consciousness with an urgency that felt suffocating. As the pressure mounted, he resolved that this choice would define him, not just as a father, but as a person in pursuit of a life rich with passion and presence. "Legs, you might be right. The time has come to face what's been holding me back." The decision crystallized in his mind, a testament to the budding resilience forged in the intimacy of their connection. He smiled at Lily, a sense of déjà vu in his expression, a promise that they were on the brink of something significant. He hit ignore with a surge of defiance, the liberating sense of risk flooding through him. But as he leaned forward to embrace the moment fully, the power of that choice rippled, reverberating into the unknown. "Together, we can discover what this new path looks like," he said, fueled by a commitment to redefine who they were. Yet, even as they planned a tentative next step, A shadow flickered across David's mind, a feeling of apprehension that suggested this hadn't yet reached its climax. The choice was made, but at what potential cost? All David knew was that the horizon had broadened, yet the journey ahead seemed fraught with uncertainty. Would their exploration lead to rewards or challenge everything he believed about stability and identity? Something else is coming, isn't it? He wondered, a seed of anxiety beginning to unfurl in his gut, propelling him toward the next chapter of their intertwined narratives. What awaited beyond? The cafe buzzed around them, but to David, it was merely background noise, a muffled symphony as he settled into this new reality. He glanced at Lily, whose eyes glimmered with enthusiasm, and felt something shift within him, a combination of fear and thrilling possibility. He had pressed ignore on his work life, but the truth that awaited him felt heavier than the weight of silence. "What do you want to do first?" Lily chirped, her fingers moving restlessly over her sketch pad, as if her spirit itself was trying to escape onto their brave new world. David studied her, the way her hair caught the light, the way she brimmed with pure, unadulterated passion. The notion that her dreams could take form sparked an ember of ambition in his chest. "I think we should start with what inspires you," he said slowly, grounding himself in the moment. "Let's explore your vision. Maybe visit that art exhibition you wanted to see, or even try a class together." His suggestions echoed, buoyant into the atmosphere, filling the void he felt before. He had always been so busy dismissing his own dreams that he had overlooked those of his daughter. Lily's eyes widened further. "A class? Together? Can we really?" The hope in her voice buoyed him, and he couldn't help but smile, a newfound sense of clarity swirling through him. "Why not?" he replied, his tone more assertive. "Let's sign up for something fresh. We can learn something new together." As the words left his mouth, a realization crystallized. This was more than a mere exploration of her art. It was a reclamation of his own lost passions. They finished their coffees, Lily brimming with ideas, and David absorbed every enthusiastic word as he imagined their world filling with colors and creativity. As they stood to leave, the ringing phone once again made its presence known, breaking the enchanting moment. He glanced down, the urgent text lighting up his screen, a reminder of his life before this rekindled connection, a tug pulling him back into shadows. "Dad, I know you're still thinking about work," Lily said, her voice steady and confident. "But you can't let it keep you from being here. Look at us. This is real." The way she framed it struck a chord deep within him. "You're right, Legs. The question is, what happens next?" The deep-rooted tension from moments before lingered in the air around them, transforming into a question that went far beyond logistics. This wasn't just about scheduling art classes. It was about integrating aspirations into their lives, challenging the very fabric of what David thought family could and should be. As they stepped out of the cafe, a chill swept through the streets, mirroring the inner turmoil still clinging to him. This path was uncharted, filled with potential pitfalls and exhilarating discoveries. Could he really navigate both being an engaged father and pursuing his own ambitions? Would he be able to hold both familial responsibilities and the freedom he craved? The world opened up in vibrant color, yet an edge of anxiety gnawed at him. These questions echoed with relentless intensity in his mind. He wanted to keep the momentum going with Lily, but something deeper within questioned his capability to sustain this connection while asserting his own needs. As they arrived at the local art center, the excitement of possibility and innovation blossoming around him felt intoxicating. But alongside it, the specter of responsibility loomed. How could he ensure he wouldn't fade back into his old patterns? "Let's get started," he said, grounding himself in the decision once more. After all, this is just the beginning. But even as he spoke with conviction, the unsettling thought of the inevitable confrontation with his boss and the implications it would hold for his future loomed larger in his mind. Would this leap into the unknown strengthen their bond or ultimately fracture the very essence of what he was trying to build? David exhaled, embracing the uncertainty ahead, knowing this journey ahead was still rife with challenges. The moment felt ripe with possibilities, yet he anticipated the storm that was bound to come. What would he face next? Would bravery prove stronger than fear, or would he find himself grappling once more with the heavy chains of responsibility that had long governed his life? As that tension pulsed beneath the surface, David felt the weight of a new decision impending, a shift toward embracing his true self, but at what cost? As they entered the vibrant art center, David took a deep breath, allowing the heady scent of paint and the buzz of creativity to wash over him. Lily darted ahead, her excitement palpable as she sought out the schedule pinned on the wall. Her enthusiasm was contagious, igniting a flicker of hope within him, yet a cloud of doubt lingered, its edges frayed and dark. "Look, Dad, they have a parent-child pottery class." She spun around with a gleeful glow solidifying in her eyes. David felt a knot tighten in his stomach. Pottery seemed mundane, too tethered to the expectations. Yet, as he watched her dream unfurl in her imagination, he hesitated, torn between the weight of responsibility and the possibility of connection. "Pottery or painting?" he challenged, trying to channel the enthusiasm into something more aligned with his reservations. "Both? Why can't we explore both?" Lily, bold and undeterred, presented a world that seemed too wide open, too full of unknowns. Watching her, he understood that her desire went beyond crayons and color palettes. It was about shared memories, a connection reformed out of the ashes of his previous neglect. "Okay, how about we start with pottery?" he replied, allowing himself to compromise. The weight began to lift as Lily squealed with delight. Seated at the pottery wheel, David fumbled his way through forming the clay. With every awkward attempt to mold a basic shape, he felt the tension in his shoulders slacken. As he worked, a distinct realization began to settle in. Being present in his daughter's world didn't require perfection. It demanded authenticity. He watched Lily's focused expressions, the way her small fingers deftly shaped her own creation. It was mesmerizing. Every messy glob of clay she coaxed into form was a reminder that beauty often resided in vulnerability. For the first time, he allowed himself to share that vulnerability by admitting he didn't know how to shape clay either. "It feels weird, doesn't it?" he said, the words pouring out before he processed them. Trying to make something perfect but getting lost in the process. Lily looked up, thoughtful. "It's okay to mess up. That's how you learn." Her words struck him with unexpected force. How often had he restricted himself to fear of failure in his career? Each job assignment felt like molded clay. He shaped and reshaped it, trying to achieve someone else's vision rather than exploring what he truly wanted to create. As they tackled their pottery with laughter and discoveries, David felt the stirrings of another question rising within. How could he merge this creative energy into his own life? Could he carve out a path that nurtured both his aspirations and supported Lily's dreams? Long after the class concluded, they washed their hands in warm water, laughter mingling with the day's creation. Sharing this messy experience deepened their bond, and as they packed up for the day, David admired Lily's pride in her work. Despite his internal conflict, he felt lighter, a consequence of the significant choices he hoped to make. Yet, as they walked home, a sense of impending confrontation clouded the horizon. David's phone buzzed in his pocket, persistent and demanding, pulling him back to the reality he had temporarily evaded. The messages from work were relentless, updates, requests, expectations. The suffocating pull of responsibilities threatened to reclaim him, whispering promises of stability but holding back his true desires. Could he break away from the relentless cycle? Would pursuing what truly mattered allow him to redefine not only his relationship with Lily, but also with himself? They approached their front door. David felt the walls of his old life pressing in on him, reminding him of the choices that lay ahead. He could surrender to the status quo or leap into the uncertain, uncharted waters filled with possibility. Was he truly ready to face the unraveling of his former self? The chime of the doorbell rang out, and as he opened the door, they found a parcel waiting, a box from the company he thought he'd left behind. In that moment, the question loomed larger than ever. Was this a chance to mourn what he was leaving, or a signal that he needed to confront his past to truly embrace his future? David stood at the doorway, the box in hand, serving as a tangible reminder of the choices he had made and the life he was striving to redefine. The vibrant colors of the pottery class still clung to his consciousness, contrasting sharply with the monochrome demands of the professional world he was beginning to reject. "Dad, what's that?" Lily asked, her youthful curiosity breaking through his moment of contemplation. "It's just some work stuff," he replied, the conviction wavering in his voice. Instantly, he regretted the response. This was not just work, it was a call to arms, urging him back into the fray, back into the cycle of neglect and ambition that had driven a wedge between him and his daughter. Sighing, he placed the box on the table, noticing how the bright colors of the pottery stood out against the starkness of the package. "You know, this is a reminder of everything I've been trying to leave behind," he admitted, looking into Lily's eyes. "The busy dad?" she said, a touch of playful challenge in her tone that was unmistakable. "Exactly. The one who got lost in what he thought was important," he agreed. But it was time, he realized. Time to confront not only the box, but the narrative that had defined him for so long. He opened the parcel, revealing papers and reminders of the cases, demands, and deadlines that had previously dictated his life. But instead of feeling the pang of obligation, he felt a rush of clarity surging within. This was the manifestation of his old self, a self he had grown tired of. It was not who he wanted to be anymore. Digging deeper, he realized that every piece of paper represented a decision he could now actively choose to leave behind. As he began to sift through the contents, he turned to Lily once more. "This represents the person I've been, but I want to be more than just that. I want to be your dad, fully present. I promise I won't let these papers define who I am as a person, for either of us." Lily's expression softened, a mixture of relief and belief shining through. "That's all I want, Dad. Just be here with me." They closed the box, a symbolic act of sealing the past.
David felt lighter, a burden lifting off his shoulders as he finally stepped into the realm of intention and action he had once feared. Presenting each plan and ambition to be molded anew could create a foundation of authenticity for their relationship to thrive. In the days that followed, David took actionable steps to redefine his presence, not just with Lily, but within himself. He arranged his schedule to accommodate art classes, attended her school events, and discovered interests they could cultivate together. Weekends became a canvas for both new memories and creative outlets, be it painting, sculpting, or simply taking nature walks. He learned to embrace vulnerability, showing Lily the softer side of his ambitions, allowing her to witness his own struggles with success and failure in the balancing act of parenthood. "Dad, it can be messy, just like clay," she reminded him during their projects. Recognition for his efforts did not come overnight, but as David took pride in attending a gallery showcasing Lily's art, he stood among her peers, mentors, and teachers. That day, she received not only accolades, but a heartfelt invitation to represent her school in a regional art fair, a moment of triumph both for her and him. Suddenly, he found life exploding with colors, laughter, and vulnerability, intertwined with his ongoing responsibilities. The conversations shifted as they supported one another's growth. It transformed from merely checking in to sharing dreams, fears, and aspirations. Each insightful exchange became a brushstroke revitalizing their relationship. Days passed, and his work life began to respond as well. "We've noticed you've been a little absent," one of his colleagues remarked during a meeting, their tone full of inquiry and suggestion. "How's that been working out?"
"I've realized that success is not just about the cases I win or the hours I clock," he explained, his tone steady and assured. "It's also about being present with the people I care about most." His colleagues' expressions varied. Some exhibited confusion, others looked impressed. But the support came, inching forward as David shared his journey. This openness not only encouraged others, but expanded his reputation. His remarkable transformation did not go unnoticed. He earned recognition for mentoring new associates and, most importantly, advocating for a more balanced work culture that allowed for personal growth alongside professional achievement. As weeks turned into months, David felt a solid confidence blossom within him, cementing his resolve to maintain this balance. He had established himself not only as a capable lawyer, but as a dedicated father, anchored by authentic connections and strengthened by vulnerability. "We can be masters of our own lives," he'd tell Lily, her laughter sparkling in the air around them, each moment an affirmation of the choices he had made. Now, every decision echoed a newfound wisdom. Ambition and love don't have to be contradictory, and connection can anchor success without overshadowing it. David's achievement materialized not just in professional accolades, but through the profound satisfaction of being a present and engaged father, a realization that brought genuine joy and fulfillment. With a smile, he glanced at her artwork hanging on the wall, proudly framed, representing not just dates and deadlines, but the journey of transformation they had taken together. "I can't wait to see where this next adventure leads us, Legs." The sun filtered in gently, illuminating the myriad colors that filled their home, symbolic of the personal and professional evolution they had both embraced. Each day brought new opportunities, and he was ready to greet them without hesitation. And as he held the door open for Lily, welcoming in the promising unknown, he knew that this was the moment that truly defined him. He had conquered the shadows of doubt, established a solid position as both a professional and a nurturing father, and transformed his life into one filled with authenticity and connection. David watched as Lily dashed ahead, already dreaming of the future, while he savored the present, a life that honored both ambition and belonging, crafted together, one masterpiece at a time. As this chapter closed, he felt at peace. He had finally embraced the man he wished to be, no longer caught in the web of old decisions, but shaping new narratives of love and presence, a journey that was undoubtedly just beginning. Now, it's your turn to reflect on your own journey. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive emotional stories that could inspire your transformation. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Seriously, it makes a difference. Comment your reactions and theories about the ending. Your feedback could inspire others seeking their own path of self-discovery. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. True fans of personal overcoming stories understand the importance of supporting this journey.